Hello and welcome. This is the Immortal Librarian, and welcome to the brewing and cooking tutorial. Today we're going to start off and explain how the brewery and the distillation apparatus works, and I apologize if I'm butchering any names. So what we first need to do is come to a place like this. Look for these little ropes somewhere, can be anywhere in the loot zone, in the outer ring, and all that. And you want to place your thing in here, okay? So you come here, and this is a brewery. This brewery does is it makes your beers. We're going to explain why we're crafting on a guild island here, because as you can see, this doesn't look like the map. This looks somewhere else. This is my guild's island that I am part of. And this wonderful thing here, it gives me a 50% production bonus using it on this guild island. I would prefer to do this in the loot zone, where I can get a 60% increase in production, but most of those places tend to be completely full. And then the outer ring, so for example, on Midland, that would be like Rod Rock or Waterford, or you look at like Sang, which would be like Demar and Heda, right? And those would be more of a 25%. I don't remember off the top of my head. So here's your available recipes here on the side. And weak beer is your tier 1, beer is your tier 2, monastic beer is your tier 3, right? And on tier 1, to make this, you need 3 wort, but you also need a flavoring. And the way the flavoring works is hops are a tier 1 flavoring, herbs are a tier 2 flavoring, and honey is a tier 3 flavoring. So if we want to make, say, 1 Q of weak beer, we would need 3 wort and then 3 hops. But if we want to make, let's say a beer, right? Just the tier 2 beer, right? That would take 60 weak beer and 20 herbs for the flavoring. So what we're going to do, we're going to add 1 unit of this, we're going to add 3 hops just so you guys can see what this looks like. Once I press this wonderful little button here, I'll let it play for a second and then we'll be back after it finishes. So keep in mind the products here, this is where your finished product is going to be. It is a range, so it is not, for example, a flat number. You're not going to get, 3 week beer, you're not going to get 30 week beer. If you get 30 week beer, that's about the average, 30 to 35, I believe, per batch of every 3. So I'm going to start this process. We'll be right back after. Now that we are back, it's almost finished. It is done. I would suggest putting 1 additional hop, so 4, just otherwise, because it's going to come out like this. And I had to restart the process. So we're going to take this and this, right? And then we're going to move over to this wonderful little thing over here called distillation apparatus. This is how you make your wines. And they function similar to a bloomery or your furnaces or metallurgic furnaces. So we're going to open this up here if it'll let me. It's going to be a pain today. There we go. And you have these wonderful things. So weak moonshine, moonshine, and strong moonshine. So the reason you'd make these are for stamina regeneration, right? And some people do prefer it for their alcohol slot. Wouldn't personally make strong moonshine. I think it's a waste of 2 beast blood, but I would probably make, one of these 2 here. And to make this moonshine here, you need 20 weak moonshine and 2 Uran's venom, right? And you get this from spiders, okay? But to make this a weak moonshine here, you need to do this and choose one of these items on the list here. And this makes 1 Q, and it makes about 20 or so weak moonshine, right? So what you do, you pick whatever one you want to use, and then you choose your fuel. And this is your fuel list. I suggest wood billets. You pump it up to 3 here with this wonderful button. If you get a little above, you can just use this to splash down a little bit. And then you're going to set it, forget it, come back in an hour. And you will have your byproducts here, right down here below. Alright, we'll be back in a moment with our cooking guide. So before I do, I'm going to show here I have level 100 cooking on this character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over an alt, and what we're going to do, I will show you what we are going to do. We'll be back in a moment here. Alright, we are back, and right now we're over here at the Black Rock Lumber Mill right now. And you're probably wondering how we're going to level this cooking, right? If you're going to take a look, our cooking is at level 15, 69%. Nice number, right? We're going to come to this wonderful thing called the Architect table and click this blue button up here. So right now, this is a little full right now, which is fine. But what we're going to do is we're going to take this here, right? We're going to put this here. So when this is at 0, it'll always eat 1,000 a week beer. But just watch this on the side right here, how much cooking XP we're about to get. And this works all the way up to level 100 too. Once you get past the certain threshold, it goes down to about 7,650 XP, I believe, per 1,000 beer per bastion. So you can do this for every little flag here on the map. So this, and so on and so forth. You can do this all around the map. And what this does is this really helps, especially in the loot zone. In the loot zone, if this, right now this bastion's only at efficiency 2, right? You can hover over this and click on it, it'll tell you. And if this, with this efficiency, our crafting benches at Lublin here, for Midland, is at efficiency 2, which means our benches are only at +2 there. And that +2 is significant because you want that to go to a +4 in the loot zone. And the reason for that is, for example, your weapon bench, right? After you hit a certain crafting threshold, it gives you bonuses to get higher tier pluses on your items. So for example, if we look at, our dagger here, right? This is just a base quality dagger, 101 damage, nothing special, right? And then this longbow here, it's a 56.5 range. But then we look at, let's say this, a 54.3 at a +3. Or this +5, which is actually a bit, a bit better than my warbow here. And a bit better than my, tier 5 longbow. And this is only a tier 4. So what this does, right, is it makes our weapons and our armor so much better. And for certain things like, let's say crafting oil. Let's use crafting oil as an example here. So without the bench, it's 1 crafting oil. At the bench, it's 1 to 2. But if I were to craft at a +4 bench, it gives me a more likely chance of getting the 2 instead of 1 crafting oil. So you're not just leveling your cooking this way, you're also benefiting your nation and your nation's crafters so they can make better quality items, whether it's to sell or you ask a crafter to make something for you, stuff like that. But anyway, if you guys like the video, please, like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for when the next upload happens. I'll be working on more videos in the future. I will also have a link to the GIS server, the Gloria Victis Info Server, which has been around for a long time. I run it. I try to keep things up to date, and I'm actually making this video for that server. It's a fully free access server, so if you guys want to hop in, just, have somewhere you have everything just compiled in one spot, whether you want to see what the different tier 5 armors look like, if you want to find maps of stuff, it's a great resource for new and veteran players. Have a good one, guys, and thank you for watching.